Welcome to Point Blank. Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Erica.
And welcome to season 2. Yay!
Yay!
It's only been a year.
I know, what the heck. Yeah, so we just wanted to come on and update you guys on what we've been doing over this last year. And yeah, so I guess start with you.
Sure, but actually, first things first. So we are gonna have some coffee and some Ryan's
tea for me.
So,
but still, Ryan's in there. Yeah.
Oh, that just sounds tasty.
It does. Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers, my dears.
Cheers. On my cup, it says, keep it sassy.
And mine says, wake, pray, slay.
So what's different in a year besides my hair color?
Yes.
Yeah, so I went light, and then I always do this. Every woman's problem. Every time I go light, I want dark hair. When I go dark, then I'm bored of it, so I want to go light.
Right.
So then I had a friend say, why don't you wear a wig? But I'm like, just too much work. So here we are with this color for now. And what have I been up to in the last year? Just working. Actually, through COVID, me and my husband have been really lucky. We have not missed a day of work, so we've been really blessed in that sense.
Right.
And just, working on just focusing on, ourselves and just, still trying for a baby, all the drugs and stuff. Just taking a break from it right now because it's just wreaking a lot of havoc on my body. And if it doesn't work this year, it's going to be IVF next year. So we're looking forward to that, and we're praying and hoping that it works. So that's what we've been up to. Also, we got a new puppy. So I have Luna, who is 9 years old, and she's a tricolored Chihuahua.
Right.
And we've been talking about for years getting another dog for Luna, like a brother or sister. And originally I wanted a white Pomeranian. And we ended up with a white Pomchi, so Pomeranian / Chihuahua mix.
Right. And
so we got him in January, and he is currently 10 months, and he is so different than Luna. He's a little terror. Like I love him, but he's a little boy. We named him Artemis. Luna and Artemis, if you don't know, is off Sailor Moon. The cat, the black cat is Luna, and Artemis is the white cat, but of course they're dogs. And I used to love Sailor Moon when I was a kid, so this is why I named them Luna and Artemis. And yeah, so I don't know, we've just been focusing, and I've been still traveling just all over Canada with my friends, whether it's Banff or BC. Like we went to BC this summer with family. Right. We stayed at Sparkling Hill for our anniversary in the Four Seasons in Whistler. So it was really nice to we usually always try to go somewhere tropical and someplace we haven't been. But this year it's been great. Like we just get to see Canada again, and just through new eyes,
Right.
Because you're so restricted that you kind of have to make it work. And Canada is beautiful, and they have a lot to offer. So no, we've been really good. So travel, work, and just new puppy, and still trying for a baby. You?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, when we had our last episode in October 7th last year.
Yep.
I was, I had my baby on the 25th of October. So,
yay, congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
She's beautiful.
Thank you. So she will be 1 years old on the 25th. So that's been crazy, having 2 under 3 years old, and just, dealing with like a 2-year-old and their, I don't like to I hate when people call it the terrible twos. I call it the spirited twos. She's very spirited. Yes. And the challenging twos, because it's definitely challenging. But she is such a sweet little girl. It's so funny the personalities of them both, because Miss K is such a little star like wants to be out there, like talks to everybody, wants to talk on the phone. They both love the phone. They both want to reach for the phone and be talking on there. But like Miss TM is like more of a, I don't know, like she's more wary of people. Like she doesn't just take to people. She won't just, yeah, like even like my family and stuff. It took her a while besides me to be like wanting to be held and stuff, like, and all this. And she definitely is going to be the protector out of the two of them. Like likes to throw hands and
The 0 to ghetto in 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, well, not ghetto. But yeah, she's just something else. And yeah, I mean, a lot of different things. I mean, I've still been off work for now because like, yeah, COVID started basically when I was pregnant, and then didn't know what was going to be going on with during that time. And so now I've been off on that and starting my own coaching business, mindset coaching with Black women, and just helping them to like reclaim their identity and to just figure out life after baby, because it's very interesting when you have a child how it's almost like for a lot of women that's you suddenly just become a mom, but you were someone else before you were a mom. So it's trying to, I guess, to evolve that identity so that you can
Find a
have
balance,
both.
like a happy balance.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
not losing yourself, but also being the best mom you can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, mostly it's been like, yeah, I've been mostly around home and stuff this year. But, you know, it was nice to have that family time. We played like a lot of board games and Scrabble and all that stuff, which I hadn't done for years. So that was kind of cool to just like, you know, to exercise my brain a bit more, and just taking a neuro coaching course as well. So learning how, yeah, to basically, yeah, like be a neuroplastician with your brain, and how to use like your thoughts to change your mindset and to be more positive and remove like those negative like trees that get planted in your head,
Yeah.
and replace them with positive ones. So
Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy for you.
yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say too, I think a lot of people, I didn't share it with a lot of people, but last year,
Yeah.
when you were pregnant with Tori Mariah, I was also pregnant at the same time, briefly.
Right.
And remember when I,
It's okay.
I remember when I texted you,
Yeah.
and I was like, look at this test, is it positive?
Right.
And then you're like, I don't know, I don't see anything.
Right.
And I took a test a few days after,
Right.
and it was just so positive, right?
Right.
And it was so weird because that day I was driving home from work and I was praying,
Right.
and something told me to go take a test.
Right.
And so I went to go take a test, and I have these like Bible quotes on my phone that pop up, and it says, for behold, children are a reward, like a gift from the Lord.
Right.
And so I went to take a test, and I could see a faint line, so I sent it to Erica, and then I waited the next day, like a day or two, and then I took an actual like a first response test.
Right.
And the line, remember I sent it to you?
Yes.
And
yeah.
it was just like so dark. It was darker than the actual line. Like,
Right.
and then I was like, it was about 2 or 3 days before Ryan's birthday.
Right.
And then I think we were in the middle of filming, like a week or two after, and I started getting cramps.
Yes.
And then, yeah, and then unfortunately miscarried. Yeah. And then you told me afterwards that you were pregnant, and we would have both had our babies in October, I think, if that pregnancy of mine stuck.
Well, I think we talked
Right.
about it. You had told me you were pregnant.
Yeah.
You did know, and then we were anticipating that we would have kids around the same time.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, yeah, then the pregnancy loss for you. Yeah, which it's never, I think maybe when I was like, when I first got married and I went to Jamaica to get Peter over here, so we had to take a bunch of pictures and stuff and like show that our marriage was real, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I did real, but it is real. Like, it's not real in quotation marks, but yeah. But yeah. So I think I was sure I was pregnant at that time because there was like, but I'm not sure if that, like, if I had a pregnancy loss, but all I know is like, that was not a good feeling. I cannot imagine, like, because I know this is like, and especially because that one was road, it's been a tough road. And like, was that like your pregnancy that was the furthest along that you've before you miscarried, or?
It was the first time I think like that I got like a blazing positive on a pregnancy test.
Right.
Like by myself, but I think when I had the ectopic, I was about, at least 4 or 5 weeks along.
Right.
But because I didn't know, so that's different.
Right.
With this one, it was just like, I don't know. I think so. Like, just because I feel like it's the first time that I was expecting it,
Right.
And then, and then just started getting cramping and bleeding. And then the HCG just went down. And then I just had to go to the doctor and then just wait till it hit 0 before I could proceed with my medication. And that was really tough. And it's been back and forth. Like, I've been on Clomid and then now I'm on letrozole.
Right.
And I have one more round of letrozole. I just decided to give myself a few months just to take a break because my hormones are just going crazy, and then probably do the last round before the end of this year. And then we're signed up for IVF for next year. And then I hate needles. So, my husband will have to hold me down and jab me with those needles, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. So we're looking forward to the next chapter,
right,
next phase, and just try not to let like all the setbacks get us down. It is what it is. Whether I have a baby now or like 2 years from now, and if we can't, we'll adopt. And there's other options.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, and I just have to say that it's so. Like, I'm so, like, in awe of you, like, with how you just continue to still be positive. And I know it's super hard, but you still have your faith, and you still, like, because it's easy to falter, especially in the times when stuff isn't going right for you. And people seem to think that just because you're, like, you believe in God and you're a Christian, that means like you're not gonna have any problems.
Yeah, actually, that life is perfect and that everything just falls in your lap. And I have a lot to be grateful and blessed for. Obviously, you work hard towards the things that you want, and also God opens doors of opportunity for you, and you have to just be grateful. And despite of everything, I mean, I only kind of get upset when I think about it or talk about it. But usually, I'm usually busy, like, with, going out with friends and just, having fun and stuff like that, and just keeping myself occupied. Right. So I usually don't sit there and dwell in that cloud of darkness usually. But I mean, you go through ups and downs, and usually in my life I have a lot more ups and downs, but sometimes, certain things like that, it's hard to talk about, and, I'm only human. So
of course, sometimes
feelings just get in the way, and you get emotional, and also, because I'm a woman, and it's all about, it is that.
When it comes to that time.
And hormones are crazy. So
totally
crazy.
It is crazy. No, but it's very commendable how you carry yourself, and regardless of what's happening, like, exactly keeping focused on what's to come, and like the fact that we woke up today, and like we always pray before we come on here and stuff, so praying for the fact that we're here, we're able to do this together, and that God is working through us too. So
just because there's just so much to talk about
Oh my gosh.
in this crazy day and age that we're living in. And I guess that's why we're here. And I think, you know, for season 2, you know, we decided back and forth what we were going to do.
Right.
Like if we were going to pre-record our episodes and then upload them to YouTube as we did with season 1. But then we also decided with everything happening, and we're just going to go live once a month just to talk about whatever we want to talk about, whatever comes to mind, and the hot topics and issues that are happening right now in this world.
Exactly.
So that's our plan, is just to go live once a month and just keep everybody updated on what's happening.
Right. Exactly. It's just easier for us. Like, we both have so much on the go. Like, I mean, Lisa does all the editing and stuff, and I know it takes a lot of time, and I don't like have the time to really help her with that because, well, I have 2 kids who are running around and they're just
and also
growing, and
I don't think people realize how much time it is.
It takes a lot of time
to get like the lighting right, and then to get the backdrop, and then to edit it, and then to do promo pics and videos and stuff like that. There's actually quite a bit to it. But I mean, we enjoy it. It's something that we do, and you know, we like to be hands-on and be part of the creative process.
Exactly.
So that's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's nice to have something that is ours, that we can direct in the direction we want and not have anybody dictating to us what we're going to do or how we're going to do it. And, right? So
exactly. And who knows what's going to happen in the future. It is what it is. We'll take it a day and a step at a time. Right. So yeah.
All right. So what should we go into now? Should we go into that C word? And no, not cancer, but a word that all of us are talking about lately, COVID.
With COVID, yeah.
You're right.
The bullshit that's happening right now.
Why don't you go first and tell about like what your experiences have been with it, and just, like whatever decisions you've made for what you're doing with your life right now. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So COVID-19. So what are we 2 years into this? Right?
Yeah.
2 years into it. So I remember when it first started, because everything went in lockdown in March, right?
Yep.
2 years ago.
Literally 2 weeks before I was supposed to go back to work.
Right?
Yeah.
2 weeks before you go back to work. And
the 23rd of March.
The year that I was supposed to actually go to Hawaii with my husband and his dad for his 70th birthday. So anyways, when it all happened, you know, I was just thinking, okay, you know, whatever. It's just kind of like SARS, or it was just kind of like N1H1, where, you know, it comes and then it goes. And then when things started getting so crazy, right, with the restrictions, with the lockdown, with the mask, with everything. And more than anything, it's like when you read the news or the media, it was just fear. Like they were just trying to bring fear, and it's a pandemic. And yes, you know, I get it. People are dying, and, you know, people die every day though, right? So the thing about COVID, I think with me is like, because I'm Christian, so obviously I follow a lot of like Christian pastors and like a lot of pages and stuff like that, was that COVID-19 was the mark of the beast. And that not to get the vaccine, because, you know, it leads to, you know, your soul being condemned to the lake of fire, right? So for me, that was a really big thing. So when everything was still new and it was coming out, I was like, I'm not getting the vaccine, because I've gotten like the flu vaccine and, you know, like travel vaccines and stuff in the past. I'm not against vaccines, right? Obviously God created, you know, he created people to create vaccines and stuff like that to help us. But also, and when I got the flu vaccine, I got so sick. I don't really get sick, and when I do get sick, I get really sick. And when I got the flu vaccine like 3 or 4 years ago, I got really sick that year, and I felt like it didn't really help me. So I was like, I don't really need the flu vaccine. I'll just drink, you know, a lot of like ginger and like lemon, and just kind of boost my immune system up.
Right.
So when this whole vaccine came out, and it was still new, it was still in the testing stage, I was so against it. I was like, I'm not getting that vaccine at all. I'm not, it's like, you know, it's the mark of the beast, and
Right.
I'm not selling my soul. I'm not pledging allegiance with the kingdom of darkness and all this stuff. And then it got to the point where I was like telling my parents and like my family like not to get it as well, because, you know, trying to save their souls. And then it just got to be too much. And then eventually like my auntie and uncle got it first, and then my grandma, my mom, my dad. So everybody got it. And then Ryan got one, and we had a huge fight. I was really upset over it. And then I was so stressed from it, Erica. Like I was crying and I was freaking out, and I was like, I just started praying, and and then I just, you know, heard the voice saying like, why are you trying to control people? Like, you know, you have to just love them and let them do their thing. And I just felt like this peace and calmness like come over me.
Right.
And instead of fight, because this is the thing, when you're fighting with everybody, it's just not fun. And as much as you love them, everybody is, you know, entitled to their own opinion and what they want to do.
Right.
Sometimes you always think that you know best for you and your loved ones, but you don't.
Course.
So with a lot of praying and fasting, I just felt like God was telling me it's okay, that he was in control regardless of what's to happen. And yeah, so I just felt like, you know what, I'm just going to go get it too. You know, because I just felt like that was the road that God was leading me on.
Right.
And I got my first shot. You know, I went back and forth. It's always a hard decision for me, because it's not that, oh, it's like the shot and what is it going to do to me like 2 to 3 years from now? Nobody knows, right?
Right.
Basically, once you commit, you commit. You're in it together with millions of people, because at this point, it's like 80% of people are vaccinated already, right?
Right.
So I went to get the first shot 4 weeks ago, and nothing but a sore arm. So really, it was just so quick, like 3 seconds. Went in, I got the Pfizer.
Yeah.
And then the next day, my arm felt really heavy. I couldn't move it. I got it on my left arm, and I'm right-handed. And then I just took an Advil, and it was like heavy, like I got hit by a bus for a day, and then it was gone, and that's it. So those were my only effects. And you know, you read and you hear it with the second shot and then the booster shot that like you're gonna get more symptoms, and like there are people who are healthy who are dying from it, but also that could be with anything.
Right.
So my decision was really hard. You know, mine was more in the sense that I would never willingly, you know, commit and give up God, right? For me, I'm always for God, and God will always be my number one. So, yeah, that was a tough decision in that. But now that I've committed and I've been there, I just feel like it is right for me at this moment. And yeah, I'm not going to go like so far into it with everything that's happening. And, you know, we have certain friends that are for it and against it. So we just don't want to go there. But I know with everything, you know, they talk about like the rapture and the second coming of Jesus and how the Antichrist is going to take stage and stuff. But anyways, that will be for another episode.
Definitely.
Anyway, so what about you?
So I had the pleasure of actually getting COVID. My whole family got COVID, actually. And hi, Dawn. She says she loves the banner. Yeah, so we actually all got COVID. I think the girls even had it because they were like, the baby was coughing. My oldest was saying that like her head hurt all the time. My symptoms were that like I had a headache, I lost my sense of taste and smell, like, and actually all of us pretty much did, but like the actual symptoms were different for all of us. Unfortunately, my dad was in ICU. He almost died.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to visit him. Yeah. It was a very hard time for us because we just had to like over Zoom like talk to him, and so I was like, you know, singing to him, talking to him, and telling him not to give up and all of this. He's better now, like, but he still has to do like rehabilitation and all of this stuff. But yeah, that being said, all going through all of that, I also, so what had happened, the reason he was in hospital was not like, initially he caught COVID, but then he got pneumonia from that, and so did I. But thankfully, I was able to go to the emergency and get some medication. And unfortunately, the first medication they gave me like an all over body rash. The second one that I got was fine, but I just had to take it for a bit longer. So, I mean, it was really interesting. Hey, Stephanie. But it was a very interesting time, and I'm just so thankful that I'm here because, yeah, like COVID is no joke. But I also wanted to say as well that COVID is like a gateway illness, and a lot of the people who are dying from what they're saying is COVID is actually other respiratory related illnesses is what's happening. But everything is being said to be COVID, like when
it's being classified
it's
under
being
COVID,
classified under COVID. So there's this heightened state of panic that's happening in the world right now because of that. I mean, even in Alberta, I don't know if you saw this, like a 14-year-old child died, and I believe he had a brain tumor, but they classified it as a COVID death, and then they had to walk that back, like Dr. Dina Hinshaw had to walk it back because actually he didn't die of COVID. Like, he caught COVID afterwards, but he was already sick. So, and this is where it becomes dangerous, and this is where I get like really pissed and annoyed because, you know, you need to, if you're going to give people information, you need to give them the right information. You need to give them like proper information and not just pick and choose what you want to tell people and create this like panic. I'm seeing so many people who are getting so upset with other people because, like, you know, we're in a world right now too where it's like, if you want to ask questions and you don't just want to blindly follow what is being touted as, like, you know, being the right thing to do, then that means you're an anti-vaxxer. That means that you're selfish. That means that you're like, you don't care about other people. And that's just not true. Of course, there are some people who are all about themselves and it wouldn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But I'll just say from my own personal experience that I have been one who just like was like, oh, the doctor told me to take this. And that's what happened when I took prednisone. And then it made me like fall into like a drug-induced psychosis. So yeah, like, do I wish I had asked questions before that? Heck yes. You know, and I don't think that it's wrong to question and to want to wait and see what happens. And I don't think people should judge other people. And I also think it's not okay for the government to be saying, like, if you don't get this, then you can't travel. You can't, like, basically...
Can't sit in a food court. Like,
right.
I went to the mall the other day.
Yeah.
And it was just so crazy how they have the food court blocked off with guards there. And you have to show that you have, you know, that you're vaccinated, your proof. Or you can't sit down, like New World Order shit. And I just couldn't even believe it. And that's the thing I don't agree with as well. Whether you're vaccinated or not, if you choose to leave this house, that is up to you. So does it matter that you have to show proof or not? Like, it's so ridiculous. It's crazy what this world has come to.
It is crazy. And it's like we live in a supposed democracy, but we're being dictated to.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure lots of people are going to be like, Erica, blah, 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 whatever. I don't care, okay? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm saying this for you who has been vaccinated, and I'm saying this for you who doesn't want to be vaccinated. Like, you need to be very careful about what rights and things that you're agreeing to, because you're going to turn around and there's going to be no choices left, and we're just going to be like, I mean, we're always talking about Russia and Cuba and how they live in, you know, but how is this, what's happening right now, any different? Like, just because we have an election and we can elect who we're wanting to
the lesser of the evil.
Yeah, really. That's the thing too. It's like, who do we actually vote for? Because I mean, honestly,
I mean, I know who I would vote for, but he's not running. He's running the whole show from above.
Right.
Right?
G-O-D.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But I mean, I'm just super annoyed with where things are headed. Because, yeah, like, you should be able to question. I remember in high school having a teacher, and he was Chinese Jamaican, and he was the best teacher ever, Mr. Chung. And he
Mr.
was,
Chung.
yeah, but he was so awesome. He was like, you know what? Just always question everything. Don't just accept things just because whoever tells you that. And from that moment, I was in grade 11. I'd never had a teacher say that to me. Yeah. Or really an adult say that to me, that you shouldn't just blindly trust people just because 100 people say one thing and one person says something else doesn't mean that the 100 people are right. Like, so we need to just get to a point where we use our brains. Yeah. And we actually like research and do things for ourselves. And, you know, we need to know exactly what the vaccine is doing in us. And like, not to go on a tangent, but I also was watching Law and Order, and I was like, it was so crazy. COVID-19 is SARS. Like, because they were talking about a COVID, they're like, oh, it's a coronavirus outbreak. And I was like, what in the holy hell? Like, well, hell isn't holy, but you know what I'm saying. Like, is going on here? Like, why is this like, if it was there, and this was an episode from like 2003, like when SARS was around. So why is it that the vaccine only came out now? I don't know. Like, there's just too much for me right now.
Yeah, and it's a lot. And I think, like, even I just got my first shot, but I mean, I waited. Right. So because, you know, now they know a lot more about what it's doing and certain side effects than they did a year ago, right? Right. So, I mean, for me, you know, let go and let God is obviously where I'm at right now, is that God is bigger than any vaccine. And he's in control, and I feel good with just the decision I made. And it was not an easy choice by any means, but it is what it is. And I don't know. I don't know if this world will ever be the same again.
No, I don't think so. It will be. But the thing is like, at least, like, yes, you got the vaccine, but you're not a person who's like trying to vilify other people who aren't getting it. Yeah. Or
I've been on both ends of the spectrum, so I know and I feel you. And, you know, I don't care whether you get it or not, like, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I won't love you any less, or anybody else. Do you know what I mean? But also, I know it's dividing a lot of people and families and friends and coworkers and stuff like that, and it shouldn't be like that.
It really shouldn't.
It really shouldn't be.
No. And that's my point, is like, if you're willing to, like, you have a however long friendship, say 30-year friendship, and you're going to allow, like, whether your friend gets the COVID vaccine or not, to be the determinant of whether your friendship, like, continues on or not. Like, I don't need to know you. That's like,
you don't need friends like that.
Then. I don't need friends like that. Like, I don't need fair weather friends. And I'm just sick of it, because there's so many people on Facebook who are being like that, and like, oh, well, if you don't want to do this, then basically, like, you're like a selfish asshole or whatever. Okay, well, I guess, like, according to you, that's what I am. Whatever. Like, I just know I have to do the best decision for my family. And like, for me, it's not even about, it's just that there was too much misinformation. And like, one moment it's like, especially because this all happened and they were giving out the vaccines, and they first said, like, when you're pregnant that you can't have the vaccine.
And now they're saying that
Now
if you don't
it's
get it, that
right.
it's more hurtful for you in the end. And
Right. So it's like, whatever. And I feel like the fact that I got COVID, I don't want to put more COVID into my body. And regardless of what they're trying to say that, oh, it's only 6 months immunity. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to take my chances then with that. But I'm not, like, just for the sake of not giving up what I think is right, and being an example to my daughters about, like, you know, standing up for things, because there's just too many moments in history where things, like, people haven't stood up and then things go very, very wrong. And also too, for me, another part of it is the fact that a lot of medications have been tested on Black people, like, first, just to see what, you know, like, that's why it was rolled out in Africa first too. So that alone too, it's like, and Bill Gates definitely has his own agenda as to what he wants in the world. That's a whole other thing though that we can go into. But anyway, yeah, he's not a good person. Anyway, but that's, I think, pretty much covers about COVID, I think.
yeah, I think so. And I think, like, even now, like, Ryan was telling me that somebody went to her pub and the lady was like putting up a huge fight, and she was like, my rights and my freedom, about showing proof. And like, he pulled out, you know, the government regulation in his ID, and he's like, yeah, well, show it to me or leave, because at this point, like, this is what I have to do. And then after making a huge fuss, and yeah, she finally just showed it. And it's like, some of these people are just so ridiculous, right? Like,
yeah, but like, if you have it already,
if you know that is the case, then don't go out. That's a decision that you made by not getting the shot. Then don't go out, or find something that's outdoors.
Well, exactly. Like, so we order in and we do other things. We're still able to go, like, we went up to Canmore the other day, and we were outside with the girls, and just, yeah, like, so
there's things that you can do.
It's possible to still have a good time. Also, like, I don't blame proprietors for, they have to
businesses.
make,
a lot of them are struggling,
their money.
yeah.
And why am I gonna go into your shop and, you know, like, yeah, I will wear a mask to go out into the public, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not needing to, like, especially like if it's a grocery store and stuff, like, why? I just don't get it. Like, some people just want drama, and that's what that is. And like, why would I go and, you know, make Joe Blow feel bad about me having to ask me for that? Like, I just don't want to put anybody in that position. I have my thoughts on it, but I'm also not gonna go and just be a troublemaker just to be a troublemaker. It's dumb. Just like, figure it out, people. Just figure it out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's true.
So, sips tea. That's the tea on that.
So that's with COVID. So the thing about COVID, though, it's weird, because when I was on my vacation at the end of August, September, and then, because I have seasonal allergies, which I haven't had for like 2 years.
Which is awesome.
But I mean, also BC is like full of trees.
You're right. Yeah.
And so I was getting a little sniffly, and then I was like, you know, I was thinking, like, Ryan's like, well, maybe we should get tested just to be safe, because we were traveling with his dad and stuff.
Right, yes. Yeah.
And so then I was like, yeah, well, I'll keep my eyes on it, you know, and if I feel like something, then I'll go get tested. And the weirdest thing was, like, I think the one night, just for like a few hours, like 2 or 3 hours, we were having dinner, and I was eating, and I was like, I can't taste anything.
Oh.
And I was like, I lost my sense of taste. And I was like, okay, oh my gosh, give me something salty to see if I can taste it. And I didn't taste anything, and I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. Because you look it up and it's like a rare symptom, and which you just mentioned that you had.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. So we were in a small town to see if they had the rapid testing, and they didn't. And they're like, oh, we can do 48 hours. But there was no point because I was going home,
Right.
you know, the next day. So when I got here, but then see the next day and had breakfast, it was fine.
Right.
Like my taste buds came back, and I'm like, that's really weird. And then when I got home, my allergies cleared up and everything, it was gone. So I don't know if I like got a mild case of it or what it was, because obviously allergies, you don't, well, not that I know of or that I've had, I've never lost my taste buds with my seasonal allergies before.
It's very weird.
So it was it was really strange, but that was something I just had me scratching my head.
Right.
But also because it cleared up so fast that I didn't feel like I had to go get tested because I just felt normal again. You know what I mean?
Right. I know.
Anyways,
that's
yeah, that
bizarre
was something.
because actually, like, since I got, well, yeah, so like, and in the summertime too, like I've never been stung by a wasp, but I was. And then ever since then I've had like eczema or whatever on my skin. And then also since COVID, having it, like my ears will block up a lot.
Okay.
And then
Certain
like my
things.
nose will block up. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really weird. Like for a few days I won't like be able to hear out of my right ear especially. So I don't know. Like
But it's
there's
weird too
so many
because
weird things.
not just you, but like I've had some other friends who've had COVID, and I've asked them what it's like, and they're like, well, like feels like you're dying, like you're in bed for days and you just feel so awful and so sick, you know? So I think it's different with everybody, but yeah, it's crazy. And like, here you are, you survived and to talk about it. So,
Well, so for me, this is the thing. So it was for the first, and I think a lot of people, they've said this, that for the first like 3 or 4 days, things are okay. But then when it's coming to around day like 5 to 7, like, or 5 to 8 usually, and it was like day 7 or 7, I think for me, where suddenly it took a turn and it like, I really couldn't breathe.
oh,
And like, it just, yeah, I could feel the water on my lungs. Like I just knew, like when I went into the emergency, the guy was like, I feel like I have pneumonia. My dad is in the hospital with pneumonia. And I just feel like I haven't had pneumonia for a long time, but I can just kind of feel like the water on like my chest kind of thing.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, you just knew that you had it, eh?
Yeah.
It was so bizarre and weird. But yeah, it's a very unassuming thing. But like I said, it's the kind of disease that just, if you already are compromised, which, so I have a diagnosis of Crohn's disease, then it made it that much easier for me to get sick, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, I was more cautious about, like, it's so funny because we were very cautious about that because my parents are elderly
Yeah.
and because my dad has autoimmune concerns and me too, to not be, you know, being crazy. So this is why too, the whole thing, it's like people are getting so freaked out about things, and it's like you can be super careful and you can get the vaccine and you still can get COVID. Which,
Exactly.
like, I don't know why people think that it's like, oh yeah, like I went to a place and they just assume that like, oh, these classes got canceled because people chose not to get the
But
vaccine. And it's
also
like,
too,
how do you know that? How do you know they didn't have the vaccine? Did you ask everybody?
But also, the people who are vaccinated are the ones that are worried about the people who are unvaccinated. Like, it just, a lot of it just does not make sense. And it just makes
You're
people...
vaccinated, like...
It makes the
calm
crazy people
down.
even crazier. That's the thing. Right? So...
Yeah. Are you worried about unvaccinated people? Like,
No.
while you're sitting right beside me?
No.
Like...
Right? Anyways. That's just our opinion.
I know.
You know, right?
Which we always will give.
Exactly, and everybody's got their own. But you know what, my friend? I'm glad that you survived COVID.
I am
that
too.
you are here to talk about it.
Yep.
And God is good.
God is so good.
God is really good.
He really is so good.
Why don't you
And
tell them what happened yesterday? So we met up for some promo pictures.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And on your way home.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah. Miss Erica has a definite lead foot. I really should have been a race car driver. But, so I was, doing 137 in 100-kilometer zone and
Got pulled over.
Luckily, like, the police officer was so nice, and he was like, I'm just gonna give you a warning, but just realize that the ticket could have been $300. And I'm like, okay. That was sobering. So yeah,
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Like,
yeah,
he had my back, and I just was like, I was so nervous. Like, well, I know we're not in the States, but I was really nervous because, we all know about the stories of people being pulled over, Black people being pulled over, shot and stuff. So, like, my heart was, like, racing when I was like, okay, just, like, to myself, like, telling myself, calm down, like, everything is fine, like, just, like, don't be, like, confrontational, just, like, be matter of fact and, like, be friendly, not, but not, like, sucking up friendly, just, like, I was just like, oh, hi, officer, and stuff, like, and all that. But it is kind of scary when you get pulled over, especially at nighttime. You're a woman, a Black woman, and you get pulled over at night. But thankfully, like, praise be to God, and this man was such a nice man that I don't have any demerits on my license, and I'm safe and happy and here to talk to you guys about my experience.
No, that's good. That's good.
It is. Yeah. And it's, well, I know not all cops are like that anyways, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
but it was nice to meet a really great one, and I didn't even get his name, but he was quite awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that is the end of our COVID
/ last night topic.
Yeah.
So, why don't we veer into relationships and
what's changed
over this?
A lot, actually. A lot. And even though this year has been full of ups and downs, I still, now that it's getting to the end of the year, I still feel like this year has been really great. A lot of losing really good friends for a long time and gaining some new friends.
Right.
So let's go into that. This is probably juicy for a lot of people who are watching this, and we don't hold anything back, and we just state our truth. We are not here to, like, attack people. How somebody takes what we say is up to them.
Yeah.
We can only talk about what we're going through, our experiences, and usually when somebody attacks you, they are feeling guilty because they know they are like that, or they just find nothing wrong with what they do, what they say, and how they treat people.
Right.
So this year I've lost 2 of my best friends. One of 20 years, so we go way back, and one of 12 years. So I'm gonna go into the first one. So what kind of happened, actually, I started with kind of the show anyways. So last year when me and Erica uploaded our haters episode, exactly, and you talked about Misty, and obviously we changed the name for legal purposes, but also it's quite obvious who it is if you do know us and the people.
Yeah.
So with the whole Misty thing, oh my goodness, where do I even begin with that? So somehow somebody in that family saw the episode and sent it to everybody and their mother and their ancestors.
And their ancestors.
Their dead ancestors. And at the time, Erica was not on Facebook, okay? So you and Misty go way back. You guys have known each other, really. I'm going to call my friend, who is her sister-in-law, Matilda. You've known Misty for how long? Like over 10 years.
Something like that.
Like maybe 12 or 15 years. Like I would say maybe 15.
Probably.
Yeah, about 15, because we all used to party and have fun together, and you guys always had your little issues, which I kind of knew. I always got along with her. Actually, out of all those girls, I thought that she was the most real one. So I didn't mind her, and we got along. She's been at my house. We've partied together, her and her boyfriend.
Right.
And so my friend Matilda ended up marrying her brother. And then, so me and Matilda, we go way back. Our dads used to hang out together. My uncle and her brother used to hang out together.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then me and her met. We ended up working at the mall together, and we became best friends. And then she moved up here because her fiance got into an accident, and then I ended up moving up here. So we have a long history, and you know, she's my best friend. She's my twin sister. And when this happened, so Misty, at the time you didn't have Facebook. So Misty reached out to me, and of course, you know, she was upset, and she said, you know, get Erica to call me right now. And
sorry.
Remember, I passed on the message. I said, you know what? I have nothing to do with this.
And then didn't answer the phone.
I said, I have nothing to do with this. I have never had a problem with you. You know, Erica is her own person. She has her own feelings, and whatever she's going to talk about, I cannot tape your mouth. I cannot hold a gun to you. Okay, this is your opinion.
Even if you did, I would still
exactly,
talk
and you will still talk because this is that is your truth. So after that whole thing happened, right? So she couldn't get to you, so she started freaking out, created fake accounts on our YouTube. Yes, this is a grown woman we're talking about. On YouTube.
Hi, Loman.
On YouTube, basically attacking us and trying to degrade us and saying that she was a black woman or a woman of color, and that with, you know, stuff with slavery, things that were not even relevant, just to attack us. And we're not dumb, because before they changed their name, you can clearly see their name, and which we have screenshotted. And then it turned into this huge thing. And then my friend Matilda, her family started calling her and, you know, making her feel bad for being friends with me, making her reevaluate who I am as a person. And, you know, people that don't even know me, they know nothing about me, and making her feel bad. And, you know, if you know this person, Matilda, she is all about her family. She loves her family. Whether they do right or wrong, she kind of ignores that. And that is, you know, her biggest downfall, is that she would rather avoid drama and conflict than, you know, and please her family than to do what is right. So after this whole thing, okay, so given she told me personally that she didn't want anything to do with you after this, which whatever, I get, and you don't really care because you
I don't
at this
care,
point.
and also, like, I'm sorry if you, like, which to that I messaged her and said, like, yeah, if you want to not have anything to do with me, then tell me to my face, or like message me, and don't be a pussy basically about it, and like relay the message through other people. Like, I just don't have time for that crap. If
and this is the thing,
are big enough to like say that to other people, then say it to my face, because I'm not, if I will say it to your face, so I expect the same courtesy.
Well, also the funny thing is that, you know, me and you have, or me and Matilda have known you a lot longer than these people that came into her life.
Right.
So it's weird. I don't know. It's weird. We all have our own opinions. It's weird that, you know, because she knows who you are and that you're not a troublemaker, that you don't create drama. And because obviously we all know who the drama queen is here.
Right.
And so throughout all of this, you know, and so me and her had to talk, and I said, you know what, I'm sorry that like it created this drama and all of this unnecessary chaos. Like, that was not our intention. Like, you know, I have no problem with her, and she knows that. And she said, you know, it's all good. And then so she, of course, decided that she was going to cut off ties with you, whatever. And then I saw her.
Which wasn't a big loss.
Yeah, that's, you know.
Whatever.
So then I saw her last year. She came over and we were good, and we were talking about it. And, you know, even though this is the thing, Matilda wants everybody to be friends. She loves everybody. Everybody loves her for the most case. And sometimes you just can't be friends with everybody. Sometimes during her birthdays or get-togethers, we are all there together because we love her, you know, and sometimes personalities clash and you don't click, right?
Yeah,
And you're there.
People say incendiary things that other people try to pretend like they don't hear or just gloss over. And it's like, I've had several witnesses to these things.
Right. And that's the thing. So I've been around, you know, her sisters and sister-in-laws, and I just don't care for them. I don't click with them. We have nothing in common. I just find them a bunch of really immature, catty, petty women, and I want nothing to do with it. Every time she's gotten us together, I've been nothing but nice, and each time there's always some sort of attitude or insecurity, and I just don't have time for that. So at that, you know, certain times I just don't really care. I just don't have time to kiss anybody's ass or, you know, be a counselor to somebody who's got a million daddy issues and stuff like that. I just don't have time for it. So that's the thing with that. So after we talked and it was good, and then throughout the year with COVID, of course she gets a little crazy with everything. So she's got a son, you know, that's special needs, and of course I know why she doesn't want to go out certain places and for dinner and stuff, and that's cool. I totally respect that. It's
a valid concern.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, we've been able to talk through everything, and we're super close, and it's just so mind-boggling because then she started to ditch all of these like dinner plans that we had, which were far in between. We didn't do it every month. We did it like once every like 3-4 months, if even, for like dinner when we could, when the restrictions weren't crazy.
Right.
And then we just all kind of, you know, felt like that she was cutting like all of her friends out that weren't approved by her family or her sister-in-law there. And so I started to kind of feel it, and I knew something was different about our friendship. And, you know, we would text here and there. And then even on Christmas, I dropped off like a box of goodies for her. And then I left it at her door, and I called her, and we talked for a little bit. And then you know, it just all of a sudden it's normal. And then you feel like something is off still. You know, it's like normal conversation. Everything's good. Yeah. How are you through everything? And then I wished her happy birthday this year on her birthday in January.
Yep.
And then, you know, she was good. And then she wished Ryan happy birthday in March.
Okay.
And I always knew something was off and different, right? And so then right before my birthday in April, I think it was like 2 days before, and I was like in Banff, and it shows you memories, and it shows a memory of me and her, and her name was blacked out, and obviously I'm not an idiot, so it turned out that she had blocked and deleted me off Facebook and Instagram. And this is, I'm talking about my twin sister of 20 years, okay, you guys, not like some acquaintance, somebody that you see once in a while. This is somebody that we basically grew up together and like went through a lot together, a lot before she even married into this family. And, you know, if she was to say to me, Lisa, you know, with everything happening with my family, I just feel like I need to take a breather from you. You know, yes, it would hurt, but also would be very mature and adult of her to tell me that.
Right.
Instead of blocking and deleting me and ghosting me like a 5-year-old. That was something that was really hurtful. And then, so when I found that out, of course, my heart just broke into pieces, and I thought we could talk everything out. But, you know, this is the thing. She's got like 7 voices whispering in her ear that she sees all the time, you know.
7 demon spirits that are, yeah.
You know, saying, oh, she's like this, and how could you hang around somebody like this and that and that and this, and you know what I mean? She decides to just do what she does, and we're all entitled to make decisions and choices that we deem is best for us, which is fine. Yeah. But it is a respect thing as well. I would never do that to her. And when I found that out, it broke my heart. And the sad thing was that I had custom ordered something for her mom because her mom died in April around Easter. Mm-hmm. And her mom died 2 years ago. So the year that her mom died, I was in LA with some friends celebrating my birthday. So she called me, and we were crying on the phone. And, you know, I said, I wish I could be with you. I'm so sorry. Her mom had cancer. Her mom finally passed away from cancer. And then I had something custom made for her. It was like a heart. Half of it was a wing, like angel wings. And the other half had her mom's name engraved on it with her birth date and her death year. And it said that we weren't ready for you to leave, but God needed another angel.
Right.
And so this thing was huge. And because of COVID, like it took over a month for it to be here. And
Right.
of course you can't return anything custom. And after this whole thing went down and, you know, I still decided to drop it off for her. I actually got a friend to drop it off because I, you know, still respect her enough that I'm not gonna show up there.
Right.
So I dropped it off with, like, I got her a notebook that says a friend loves at all times.
Right.
And I just wrote, you know, I just did like a little scrapbook with like all of our memories, how we met, you know, like what I loved about her, some of our like greatest times. And I also did write like my feelings about her and her family. And I just said, you know, they're not people of God, and they're just, some of them are just not good people. And I hope, I pray one day that God shows you exactly who they are. And don't get me wrong, right? Family is never perfect. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody's family is perfect.
But also, if I see my brother being ridiculous, I am not scared to call them out, because that's what family does. But also, I would never let my family tell me who to be friends with and who not to be friends with. It doesn't work that way with me.
You wouldn't allow your family to disrespect your friends, like, or vice versa, right? Like, you're gonna call out somebody, regardless of their position in your heart or like familial tie, because that's what you were supposed to do, especially when you claim to be a Christian and you claim to be so much about God.
Yeah. She's not Christian, she's Catholic, but
well,
you know how that goes.
But when you say you believe in God, regardless,
well,
there's a certain standard that you're supposed to. Why don't you
practice what you preach?
Right.
You preach about love and forgiveness and being the better person, but yet here you are, and you can't even
pleaser.
Talk to me. You can't even like communicate with me, like nothing.
But I did tell you though too that there was, I don't know, like since I've known you guys, like it's just like I could always tell that you were the one who put in more effort.
Yeah, you did tell me
and
that.
Like even
because
with
you know me with my friends,
with whoever else.
Yeah,
like she always wanted people to come to her, and like I think it was actually a point of pride. It's a pride thing with her, actually, where like all these people want to be friends with her because everybody thinks she's so nice, but like I'll tell you right now, she's not as nice as she makes out to be, and whatever, I don't care. Like I just don't. It's just so annoying because you know, just because
you guys had a different
we make but just because we speak out and we say things, we get labeled it as being like bitches or whatever, but we say things that everybody else is thinking.
Or they say behind closed doors, and it's just because it's not broadcast, right?
Right.
And we choose to
be real, and like I don't
air
think
dirty laundry. Like that's a decision that we make because we feel like a lot of people can relate, whether you're 20 or 40 or 50 or 60, you still go through drama, and there's still changes in life, and a lot of it's relatable. And when all that happened, so the thing is, so I dropped it off with that notebook and the thing in a box. I got my friend to drop it off who lives close by. And so like a week or two after, Ryan comes home and there's a box on the door, and she had returned everything. And at that point I was pissed.
Childish.
I was childish, immature, and I was pissed.
And rude. Very, very rude.
So my friend came over that night and we repackaged it in an Amazon box. And I, wrote a letter. I said, you know what, Matilda, I said, I did this out of the goodness of my heart. I just don't know why you would feel like, why would you disrespect your mom's memory like that? What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this? I cannot return it. I said, if you don't want it, give it to your sister, whatever, bring it to her graveyard, whatever. I didn't do it because I'm trying to kiss your ass. I did this out of the goodness of my heart that I did way before you decided to ghost me.
Right.
And I basically told her, if you return this back to me, I will return it back to you 100 times. My face will show up at the door, and you're going to have to talk to me. You're going to have to be an adult and just talk to me face to face.
Right. And
just deal with it. And then I know that she doesn't like mouses or mices, so I got my dog's toy. Sorry, at this point I was just pissed. I just put the toy on top of the box, and we delivered it that night. And ever since then, I haven't seen or heard anything from it. And, you know, it is what it is. Like, if somebody doesn't see the value of our friendship and talking it out and being an adult and mature about it. The thing is, we live so close. We're going to run into each other. We have the same friends. And even after this happened, like even a few months ago, she lost her credit card at the gas station, and a friend of mine saw her name and like sent it to me. Right. So really, our lives are bound to cross paths again, but it is what it is. At this point, you know, as hard as it was, I just didn't want to chase people who saw no value in me or just know who I am as a person. That it is their choice, right? I mean, if you think your life is better without me, cheers to you, and I wish you the best of luck, right? 20 years is a long time. Like, you know,
if you can just discount 20 years and not even give someone the decency of a phone call and
or a letter or something, like even just whatever,
right? Then I'm sorry.
And I guess because I'm guilty by association, right? And you said to me at one point too, you said, you know what, Lisa, like if you want to dissolve our friendship because you want to, you know, be friends with her and her family and stuff, like that's up to you. And remember what I said to you? I looked at you and said, I don't play those games. Like, we're friends for a reason. And, you know, I'm not going to let somebody dictate who I can be friends with and who I can't be friends with, because I'm not 5. And it is what it is. If she chooses to walk down the path that she wants to go down, she can go down there by herself, and there's nothing I can do, you know? And that's the thing, right? So we have different friendships with her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even though...
For real.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Like, exactly. We just have different friendships.
Well, I never felt like...
Like, you guys were never, like, super close. You guys were friends.
Yeah.
But not
But I feel
like we were roommates, and we, like, been through a lot.
Exactly. But I always just felt like... Yeah. Just that she's the kind of person who wants fans, and I'm not a fan. Like, I'm your friend, and I feel that friendship means that you call people out on certain things and vice versa, and like, yeah, maybe you'll get mad and be upset that someone's calling you out on something, but you know genuinely in their heart that they want the best for you. They wouldn't be saying this to hurt you. They're just saying it because they want you to be the best version of you.
But also, too, before any of this went down and we filmed that episode, you have reached out to her many times asking to go for coffee with her and Misty to clear the air, because you always felt that Misty was bullying you and picking on you.
Right.
And there was always an excuse. There was always
an
her son was sick or something was up, and it never got there. And then it happened where you spoke your truth, and all of a sudden you're the bad guy, right?
Oh, so yeah, totally.
Honestly, it's just too much.
But what's funny is that, like, you know, MJ was there and she saw everything. Like, she was literally sitting right beside me. And she was just,
because Missy said, "Oh,
what?
My son. I should set you with my son because he likes pretty black girls."
Which is so, like, don't say that to your friends. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't say that to people. People really need to learn that's not a compliment to say something like that to a black person or whatever race. You could put whatever in there. And it's just not okay to say that.
But you know what's funny, though? Because
she's trash, so.
After all of this happened, I told you, because I messaged Misty.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I forgive you for dragging me into a mess that I never even asked to be part of, because I'm just want to be better than that and bigger than that. And yeah, I forgive you and I pray for you and I wish you well. And that was it, right?
Yeah.
So that was the one. And then oh my gosh, right? The other one that's just happened recently, we'll call her Serene. Known her for 12 years, worked together at the Bay with makeup. And what happened was, me and our 2 other friends went up to Banff for the night.
Right.
And she wasn't able to make it. So we do these little daily girl trips once a month. We go up to Banff or Invermere or Canmore or Kananaskis just to get away, just have a nice dinner and just, sightsee and just have girl time therapy.
Right.
And so she didn't make it the last time. So 3 of us went and we're all good friends with her. And it came up. One of the girls said, she asked me to help clean her house the other day on Monday, so I'm going to go. And anybody who knows Serene, she does mean well. She's got a good heart. She talks a lot, but also she is a hoarder. She does tend to hang on to things and like recycle them and give them to people. And so, we said, okay, well, maybe we'll offer our help as well, because we've told her before, if you need help like cleaning your house and clearing it out, just call us and we are more than happy to help you.
Right.
And so we have like a group message. So we were talking in the group message and saying that, and then she totally just like freaked out on me, just completely lost it on me. And she was like, and it had nothing to do, we were offering our help to help clean her house. And the thing about her is, so she totally flipped out on me and just was saying that I was attacking her, that I was throwing her under the bus, that I was using her as a punching bag and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, where is this coming from? And then it just all started to come out, that because she's got a daughter who's just turned 17, but her daughter was telling me all this stuff that she had no idea and that she was really embarrassed about. Like her daughter, was saying that she was like meeting guys online and having them pick her up, and they were going to have sex, and they were, doing drugs, they were doing this and that. And, at first I wasn't sure if I was going to tell her, because, that's a tough thing, because sometimes people take it the wrong way when you're trying to tell them certain things. But
right.
In the end, I was just like, well,
for her safety.
If anything happened, and she's like my sister, I'll just tell her, because I don't want it to ever get to the point where something happens and she has no idea what's happening, what her daughter's doing, and it was like, she was doing that stuff, and she was like stealing, and she was doing a bunch of stuff. And of course I tell her, like, you need to stop, like, you have to, if you want to work for something, you have to go get a job, you have to do this, just trying to lead her on the right path, because we've all been there where we're teenagers and we're kind of rebellious, drink a little bit here, go hang out with friends, whatever, right? So I totally understand. So I would tell her all this stuff, and I think she was so shocked, but also it was just a little jealousy and insecurity that her daughter was revealing a lot more to me than to her. And so she would stop talking about it, or just kind of tell me that her and her husband have it under control, because I felt like she didn't want to be judged, or she was just super embarrassed. But also, like I said, we're sisters, we've been friends for 12 years and we can talk about anything. So I just thought it was a little weird, and maybe she was just bottling it up. I just said, hey, your daughter is sexually active. She's got anxiety, depression, she's stealing, she's calling somebody else mom. Maybe you need to take a look at this and just kind of figure out, maybe she needs help. It sounds like a cry for help. I was just being honest.
Right.
And, I wasn't like, you need to do this and that, or, I wasn't taking her daughter out drinking and like doing drugs and like all that stuff, right?
Right.
I was just being like an auntie.
Right.
To listen to and talk to and try to guide you on the right path. So she totally blew up on me. She she's 51, okay, you guys? She got her husband to email me. Okay, might as well send it on a fucking dinosaur. Email me.
But sorry, before that, what about the fact, like, so this sign behind us was for their anniversary. Yeah. So we all came here for a party. So that you should put that part in first before you talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I had a barbecue at my house last month, actually, because Ryan's dad was down.
Right.
And because we're supposed to go to Hawaii with him the last 2 years and we weren't able to, we decided to have a Hawaiian party. And because for Christmas we got him some Hawaiian clothes.
Right.
And we told him to bring that. And then we had a party here with just really close friends and family. And she was here with some of our other good friends, and sitting here talking, eating, chatting with my mom and my family, and just acting like nothing. And the whole time, one of my friends, and this didn't come to light till afterwards, a few weeks after. So she was here, and that was like over a month ago. And so I was just talking to my one friend by chance, and I said, oh yeah, me and Serene are fighting right now. And she said, oh, why? I said, oh, just really dumb, petty stuff. And she said, well, I was going to tell you in person when I saw you next, but she was like talking about you at your party. And she's like, I was, having some drinks, I was drunk, and I was just like, yeah. And then she said the next day, Serene proceeded to call me, and we're not really close, and talk about you for 30 minutes and just saying all this stuff about you. And I just couldn't even believe it. And so when that came to light, I lost it. And then after she got her husband to send this email, and it was just so immature, basically calling me a bitch, saying I don't know anything because I don't have kids, I need to mind my own business, all this stuff. And that
threatening you,
threatening
to get the cops,
well, and a bunch of stuff,
so
saying saying, oh well, if you don't talk to your husband, your marriage is doomed, and all this bullshit. And I fucking lost it on her. I lost it. I said, do not compare your marriage to mine. And I said, and when I do have kids, they won't be fucking like yours. And yeah, I mean, I really should have been better than that, but I just got so mad because, here I am offering help, trying to be a good friend and / sister. And here she goes off attacking me. And I told her, I said, you know what? If you were my punching bag, you wouldn't be talking back to me. So, and why she involved her husband, I don't get it. Maybe because she doesn't have the words to say it. She's speechless for once. But like involving her husband and like, sorry, I don't know.
Speechless for once.
I don't know about you, but like of course I tell Ryan about petty woman drama after, but would I ever say, babe, like I need you to write me a mean letter to my friend to degrade her and belittle her because I'm feeling hurt and attacked? I would never do that. This is not what adults do. You fight your own battles and you keep your husband out of your petty drama. Like
Peter's not a bitch, therefore he's not gonna get involved in a woman.
Well, yeah, and
like, why would he threaten a woman too? Like, it's just so.
And I sent it to like.
It's terrible. Like, it's just so beneath. I just
feel like that's not a real man. A real man
exactly
does not do that.
You don't talk to people like that.
So after that, like, of course I lost it, and I said, you know what, asshole? Like, do you feel like you got such big balls in your chest because you're belittling your wife's friend? Like, I hope that this makes you feel good as a person, and you need to really get a real job and just mind your own business. And this is the thing. So then I messaged her and I called her because I wanted to talk it out and work it out. And like, she hasn't responded at all because in her eyes, she has done nothing wrong. She thinks that attacking me is okay. And our two friends, I've sent it to them, everything that I've said, everything that she has said, and they honestly can't even believe it. At this point right now, she is not even talking to her other best friend, because there's 3 of us, because her best friend hasn't sided with me, but stated her opinion, which agreed with me. And so basically she's cut her out too. And it's like, really, like, are you really going to be 51 going on 13? And at this point, like I said, the whole losing a friend for 20 years and another one for 12 years, it really gets easier. But also too, I know like it all happened for a reason, and it is what it is. It just, sometimes you just change and you just see people for who they really are. And yeah, I don't want to have friends that are talking about me behind my back. It's one thing to, if there's an issue or something that you don't know how to approach it with somebody and you talk to a mutual friend, but it's another thing to completely bash somebody because you're insecure and you're jealous and you're, then go do something about it, right? Like, if you're not happy with your life and what you have and what you've worked for, then go change it. Like, why do you need to go and talk about me? And like, whatever I say to her, and this is what I told her, I said, whatever I say to you and with our friends, I have the guts to say to your face, where you're so sneaky and you sneak around behind my back. You don't only talk about me, but you talk about every single one of our friends, whether it's harmless or not. It's like gossip, and it's like, it gets out of control, and it needs to stop. I can only
imagine what she said about me, whatever.
Right? And at this point, I was just like, well, do I really want to chase somebody and be friends with somebody like that? With me, I love my friends, my family so much. I hang on to them, and I would do anything for you. And I love hard and I forgive, but also at the same time, when I'm done, I'm really done. When I step back and I see exactly who you are, I'm finished. I just can't I'd rather have one loyal friend than 100 fake friends.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And at this point, like, I have no need or feel to chase her, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? With any of them right now.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like the closer you are to God, the more that he knows the people that you need in your life, and the people who aren't really close to him, he just weeds them out, and that's just what it's come down to, and we know that.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Hey, Carolyn.
Yeah. And that is the drama there.
That is the drama.
So
that's
with
the tea.
2 failed friendships, I've gained actually 2 new best friends, and it's been good. Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean...
You have your opinion on it, too. You know her.
I just always felt like, well, first of all, I've said many times she talks too much, but she does. She talks way too much.
Because she's got ADHD, which...
Well, but... I know, but how... There's a point where it's like, how much of it is actually a diagnosis and how much of it is you? Like, I don't subscribe to... Like, there is a point where even if you're diagnosed with something, like, you have some control, and you have to also make decisions to help yourself with it, right?
Yeah. You can't help people who don't want to help themselves. Or take accountability in their actions and...
Right.
You know.
And she's just, like, I don't know, she's brought, like, different things for the girls that are scary, and... like some Dora doll that just looked like it was like
Haunted
from
doll.
The gates of like hell, and I'm like, I don't want this.
But also you said too, you know, because she'll try to invite you out to certain things, and then she makes you feel guilty for not going.
She tries to, but she doesn't,
yeah.
because I have my own mind, and I'm not gonna, like, don't try and tell me, like, talk to me about places that, like, I've grown up in the city for how long, and you're gonna try and tell me that some place that, like, is known to have, like, drug activity, like prostitutes, like, and, like, where people go and sleep with prostitutes because it's, like, by the hour hotel rooms, that I should go there for karaoke. Like, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna be seeing...
She's always about a deal, though, so...
Well, and yeah, sometimes a deal is not worth your soul or being shot. Like, sorry. And just, like, just feeling like, anyway, that any sort of gift that I was given by her is, like, an attempt to try and buy my friendship, or just to...
Well, we've all
ingratiate herself.
We've all come to this conclusion because she has so much stuff, and she recycles it.
She wants to get rid of the stuff that's in her home and repurpose it to other people. But I don't want your mess. Like, don't give me old stuff that you don't want. Sorry, don't give it to me.
If you wanted it, you go to the Value Village.
Well, exactly.
But, yeah.
Like, I mean, I have to say, she did give an old, like, stroller, which I'm very grateful for, and we use all the time for the girls. So that's, like, and also, like, one of those, like, rocking chair things for the girls. So there's a few things that she's regifted. Stuff like that I don't mind taking secondhand.
Well, if you need, if it's something that you need, but
Right.
sometimes she just gives stuff that you don't need, right?
Right.
And then, like, I'm so comfortable with her that I just look through it. I'm like, I don't need this, just take it back, because if not, I'm just gonna throw it in the garbage. And I'm just honest with her.
Right.
And I've just found out from a few of our other friends too that they do the same thing, that whatever she gives them, they just throw right in the garbage because they don't need it. A lot of it's just like
I don't need
stuff, like just junk, right?
Napkins and things that you've, I don't know. It's just weird.
I mean, to each their own, right?
Each
like
their
whatever.
own, but that's not how I want to live my life. So
to each their own. But yeah, those are probably the 2 biggest
Hi,
changes
Zara.
in my life.
Yeah. So I think that's about it.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's it for that. So,
Yeah.
want to talk about Britney? So,
yeah, okay. We'll talk about Britney, but then we have to spend like almost an hour and a half.
okay. Oh my god. Okay, let's make it quick with Britney.
Okay.
Okay, so Britney Spears, everybody knows. So, you know, basically, me and Britney are almost the same age. She's just like, I think think a year older.
Yeah.
So growing up in high school, when Britney came out, I was obsessed with Britney. I loved her. I loved her over Christina. But I mean, of course, Britney and Christina go hand in hand. So I loved her, bought her CD, blasted it, asked my brothers, my family. That's all I ever sang and like danced to. And ironically, my first concert was Britney Spears with Pussycat Dolls opening up. And, you know, so of course, been a fan of hers and just, it's Britney, bitch, right?
Right.
And so what about you?
Oh my gosh.
You loved her from day one? From Baby One More Time?
From Baby One More Time, I'm like, who is this? Like, even just talking about it, I get chills, like, talking about it. Because I just remember I'm like, who is this? And, like, what? This song? Like, who is this song? Like,
Yeah.
like who's singing this song and everything? And it was so, like, just to see the growth of her from like being that 16-year-old to
where she is
now.
But just the whole conservatorship is so ridiculous to think that when she had her public meltdown in 2007, 2008, that she's been under
that
control. This control for 13 years and nobody's done anything, and that her family uses her as a milk goat. It's just really sad. It's crazy. And really also at the same time not surprising, because it's crazy that like she was worth, at the time they're saying she was worth about 600 million, and this whole Team Con thing has dwindled her down to like 60 million. And now that she's going to be free before her birthday, like cheers to that. And the whole Free Britney movement, I mean, that's great. And they're bringing to light everything that's happening and all the sneaky and shady business that's been happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh Lord, shots have been fired. She said that she is going to be, she's like, they better hope I don't do an interview because all this stuff is going to come out. I just, like, just so many things have been illuminated. Like, because it's funny, we were just talking about this morning. Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize that she was still under the conservatorship until like the Free Britney, Framing Britney came out. And when people were talking about it more, and then also just thinking about how, like, if you look at previous interviews and even how people would talk to her and the things that they would ask her about, and like so inappropriate, like certain questions, especially male interviewers would ask her about like her breasts and stuff, and she has to just sit there and smile and take it. And like, she's been accused of like, not being able to take care of herself, but yet still she's able to work and do all this stuff. But then you're still saying she's not capable of taking care of herself, but she's putting on how many shows in the residency in Vegas and all this.
And all of it's going into the pockets of
her family.
Exactly.
Jamie,
well, her dad.
Her dad,
For the control thing. And when it started to come to light, she was saying that like she wasn't even allowed to like get dressed. Like there was no door in her room, and there was always had to be people there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just reading a bunch of it. So like she had no control and no aspect, and even at certain points her social media was monitored and it had to be approved. And she just got like her car keys for the first time 4 months ago in like 13 years to be able to drive by herself, and just a lot of really crazy things that blow my mind. Like to think that you're not legally your own person to make decisions on how you want to spend your money, what you want to do, and just you're like, whether you want to have a baby or not, or like all this crazy stuff.
Exactly.
So for that to come to light, and how her fans have been so great, and her lawyer that she's got has helped her, and she's going to be freed by her birthday. I mean, that's great. Cheers to her.
It is. It's great.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to touch on like, and Sarah, totally. Depression doesn't make you any less capable of being human. So true. Like the whole Justin thing too, him like suddenly coming out because he had a movie coming out on Apple TV.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, because the documentary came out, and he suddenly walking back the things that he said and did. And like she just made fun of, like, she was wearing like one of those like poor boy hats in like Instagram video, and she's just like, is that Britney? oh, I am Britney Spears. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like, wasn't that the girl from the Justin Timberlake video? Yeah. And like the whole Janet thing too, because it was like he just threw her under the bus. He threw Britney under the bus. And now suddenly he's trying to walk it back now that people are kind of seeing everything for what it is. And it just was, the timing was very interesting and very convenient for when his movie was coming out and all that, especially because that was the movie where he was like accused of cheating on Jessica with that his co-star with too.
Yeah,
so
her name, but
yeah.
Anyways, he's old news. We don't
He
want
is
to talk
old
about him
news.
anyways.
But
we're
yeah,
just happy
we're so
for
happy
Britney and
for
just
her.
glad that it's all come to light now, and they're going to take a look at. They've changed, I think, some rules in California for conservatorships because of that, which is great because I can't even imagine right now, like, you know, going for dinner and like you know, if whoever is controlling you is saying no, you can't buy this dinner, like that's so wrong and on so many levels, because she's worked hard all of her life and just to be controlled because you have one public meltdown. Like, who wouldn't have a meltdown when paparazzi's in your face and they're not leaving you alone and like just snapping pictures, invading your privacy? And
well, and
I would do the same thing.
Baiting you
so that they can get pictures that are
yeah.
worth thousands of dollars. And I know they changed that policy with paparazzis right now, that it's not that crazy anymore because they don't do that anymore. They've changed the law where before they were getting paid up to $100,000 and more for like a picture that they could use on the front page of something, right? So,
but that being said, she still said that she's scared of the fact, like, that she's so close to freedom that
something
she might
could
make
happen.
a mistake because the paparazzi are still around and they're like following her when she's driving and like she's by the elementary school and then they're kind of like jumping out and stuff. So she's like scared to be driving, scared to be.
Well, I think to be honest, like in the era that she was out in 1998, 99, before social media and everything and YouTube came to play, it's already bad for her then. Imagine if she was out in this day and age, like she would have no privacy. She would have the most viewed videos and stuff, but even now they're not leaving her alone and she just wants some freedom. And it's crazy that the people, I mean, it is the people that are closest to you are the ones that can hurt you the most, and that's absolute 100% truth.
It is.
And that's just another case of that too, you know, like her family just using her. And yeah, no, it's sad. It's sad reality that sometimes the people you love the most are the ones that can hurt you the most.
Well, it's sort of funny too, like her personal assistant too. Like suddenly, like they were inseparable, they were best friends, and then she just suddenly,
pushed them out, I think.
Yeah, the dad pushed her out because she was actually concerned about Britney and her well-being.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see like her liking posts that Britney has put up because
hopefully they can.
I hope they can reconnect. And
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because she was probably more of a mom to her than her mom ever was, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So, yeah, what a year.
What a year.
COVID, friendships, Britney being free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming into over, 2 years of being in this COVID madness. The world is not going to be the same, but hopefully
you can make the
you
best
can make
of what
the best of it.
you have, and you know,
be tolerant and be accepting of people and try and see things from their perspective and not just make assumptions. Let's try and have positive intent towards people and think that they have the best interest at heart, like unless they prove otherwise. And
and especially if you believe in God, stay close to God during these times because it's really important. And it's just a whole nother episode with everything that's happening, that's coming to light right now with everything.
Right.
And especially lots of spiritual attacks and stuff like that
Definitely.
too. And if you don't have God, maybe, you know, research him and see if that's something that you'd be interested in, because once you go there and once you have God and you have a personal relationship, you just you never go back and you're never the same. And every day's learning.
Exactly. Okay.
Every day's a learning experience. But anyways, I think we've
We've been on for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Our Facebook Live has been really long. But anyways, yeah. I think we're good now, right?
I think so. Yeah.
We talked about everything.
We talked about everything we wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
so.
thanks for everybody who was tuning in and for
Yeah.
people who are going to be watching after, because I know a lot of you sent me messages saying that you guys are working. Thank you so much for your love and support and hearing us old ladies talk about our lives and our opinions and what we're doing and all the fun stuff. Anyways, we love you. We pray for you. We bless you. And God bless you.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye.